Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to a new season of the Go Battle League where we recently got a huge update and went over all of the new moves, the newly added move sets to certain Pokemon, as well as the buffed and nerfed attacks that are going to be making huge changes this season in the Go Battle League here. Season 22, Season of Might and Mastery is upon us. And we asked some of the best Go Battle League players, some of the best personalities, casters, commentators, and world champions what they're going to be running to start the season. So if you are totally lost, you weren't really paying attention to these new updates, we got you covered. We got some awesome teams that you can potentially try out to start your Go Battle League journey with this new season in the Open Great League. And without further ado, we're going to get straight into it as per usual. Huge shout out to Inadequence for putting these graphics together. And we are going to get things rolling as we scooch on over and take a look at the first graphic. So we're going to be starting out with Pokémon, the recent EUIC champion. Congratulations to him. He went on an absolutely phenomenal run and captured the European International Championship just recently. So huge congrats to Pokémon. And he is going to be running Clodsire along with Shadow Sableye and Golisopod. Now, Golisopod has, I think, gotten better due to the fact that there's going to be way more ghosts in the meta, and that Shadow Claw is going to help it out, as well as Shadow Sableye, you may have noticed, got the Foul Play buff. Foul Play is going to be less energy now, so you're going to get to it after every 5 Shadow Claws, presumably. And also, Dazzling Gleam is going to be less energy. So if you're Shadow Sableye, you could opt for Power Gem. You could also run Dazzling Gleam. Potoman's team description says Sludge Bomb Clodsire covers this team from Fairy-type Pokemon. Dazzling Gleam Sableye helps against Dark-type Pokemon. Makes sense. So Sableye as the safe swap. Hopefully, you lure out a potential Dark-type. If there is one, you have that Dazzling Gleam to hit it back. If you lure out something like a Wigglytuff, then maybe you can do some chip damage, farm it down with Clodsire, and that energy could go a long ways. Next up, we go to Speediest Chief, such a phenomenal caster and the first Sylph World Champion back in the day. And he is running Claydol as well as Morpeko Safe Swap and Guzzlord Closer. Now, Claydol, I've seen a lot of people hyped about. People were talking about it on Twitter, how Claydol has finally emerged as one of the top-ranked Pokemon in the Great League meta after so many buffs over the years. The Mud Slap buff, the Rock Tomb buff, giving it Shadow Ball, giving it Scorching Sands, and now finally Claydol has reached number 15 in the PvPoke rankings. Claydol takes out the Steel and Ground-type Pokemon. If you encounter Azumarill or Dugong, stay in and farm down with Morpeko. Makes a lot of sense, right? Because of Claydol's ability to debuff, it actually is not that bad against something like Dugong or Azumarill. It can soft lose those matchups. Even a Jump Bluff as well. It can land that Rock Tomb, which has recently gotten buffed, and hopefully soft lose that matchup, kind of clearing the runway for the Guzzlord in the back. So a potential ABA style line here from Speediest Chief. We go down to 2-0 Butters, another caster, and every season legend with Spice. I like that description for Butters. And he is running the Shadow variant of Grumpig as well as Credilli and Shadow Blastoise. So all three of these Pokemon receiving buffs, right? Grumpig went from one of the worst ranked Pokemon in the entire game, running Extra Sensory, a terrible fast attack, now giving it Psywave, one of the best fast attacks, as well as Dynamic Punch getting a buff. So it got added that attack, plus Dynamic Punch got better. So Grumpig typically going to be running Psywave, Dynamic Punch, Shadow Ball, I believe, and is going to immediately go from 0 to hero in terms of its ability in the Go Battle League. Credilli also receiving that Rock Tomb buff is nice. And then Blastoise getting rollout. Blastoise finally getting access to a solid fast attack, giving it access to get to those rollouts or those Hydro Cannons via the rollout energy quite quickly. Blastoise going to be a force to be reckoned with now in the Go Battle League. It's nice that a fellow starter is going to be seeing more play. So Grumpig, Credilli, Blastoise. We want to start the season strong against Lapras. Credilli is a strong safe swap now. Yeah, all three of these Pokemon have really solid play against Lapras, which we haven't seen yet, but is going to be one of the most common mons this season, one of the highest ranked Mons. And we go down to Ishikawa Boy here. Ishikawa Boy running Emolga, Lapras safe swap, and Pangoro, the Panda, as the closer. Sparkling Aria is a must on Lapras. Your second charge attack should be Skull Bash or Ice Beam, depending on what you face in the meta. Makes a lot of sense. If you're seeing a lot of flying types, maybe opt for that Ice Beam. Skull Bash is definitely going to be helpful in the mirror match, though. And if we're expecting to see a lot of Lapras, I could see a lot of people opting for that Skull Bash for the mirror match. It's going to be super helpful. Emolga, with access to Discharge. Discharge is going to be less energy now. We're expecting it to be 40 energy, so an Aerialize clone, which means it's not that powerful of a move, but it is pretty fast. If it's 35 energy, that's going to be a game changer. Suddenly, Discharge is going to become a really good attack if it's 35 energy, but that is to be determined. Pangoro as a closer. I think with all these updates, you have certain Pokemon that don't receive a buff, such as Pangoro, but the fact that so many ghost types are now going to be in the meta, as well as certain dark types, Pangoro suddenly, and Psywave users as well, now Pangoro has a lot more play, a lot more targets in the meta. So a cool team there. And of course, Sparkling Aria is just a strict upgrade from Surf. So that's going to be a new attack for Lapras. Just a strict upgrade from Surf. Apparently, it's the same energy for more damage, so no reason not to run Sparkling Aria on the Lapras. Let's scroll down to some of these next teams. And don't worry, this isn't the end of the graphic. We actually have a whole nother graphic worth of teams. But we go to Soph Toph every season on the GBL leaderboard. She's a tremendous player, and she is running an interesting team with Guzzlord, Lapras Safe Swap, and Sableye. Core Breaker in the lead, paired with one of the best cores in the back. Stay in for fighting type leads and pray you don't lead into a Wigglytuff. That's kind of what I was thinking when I saw this team from Soph. Just pray you don't see a Wigglytuff. Otherwise, it might be GG's instantly. But this is a solid looking ABA dark type style. Oh, we got our alarm going off here early in the morning. And Guzzlord, Lapras, and Sableye. Three very fun Pokemon. You are sort of ABA weak to counter, but Lapras, I mean, if you can chip a counter user or a fighter with the Guzzlord, Psywave it down, hopefully with Lapras, suddenly they might not have a better answer to the Lapras. So that could work out well. And yeah, a interesting team from Soph Toph. We go on to It's Axon, the 2023 World Champion, Shadow Sableye, Lapras, and Diggersby closer. This ABB team utilizes Lapras as a safe switch to shut down fighting-type Pokemon, freeing up Diggersby in the back. Honestly, I mean, a very similar team to Soph Toph, right? Above from the World Champion. Great minds think alike. However, this one with more of an ABB style, where Lapras is the one luring out the fighter, and then hopefully Sableye can can farm it down or something, opening up the way for Diggersby. One thing I do see with both of these teams is a Pangoro from Ishikawa Boy could be quite the core breaker for both of It's Axon and Soph Toph's teams. But I think those are some fun teams nonetheless. And if you look at some of these above teams, right? Soph mentioned that the Guzzlord looks like a great core breaker, and I tend to agree. I mean, look at some of these teams. Considering Psywave is on Lapras, it probably has a very solid matchup against Lapras, so long as you shield Ice Beam. And, like, resisting Psywave, resisting Grass, resisting Water, like, on this entire graphic, honestly, Guzzlord looks like quite the menace. So those are the first half of squads. Hopefully, some of those teams already are teams you can run, but we got some more for you. And we go to another world champion, Yakai, recommending Superior Lapras Safe Switch. You're going to see a lot of Lapras. Get ready for it. As well as a Stunfisk closer, Unova Stunfisk. ABB line to Fire-type Pokemon. Use Lapras as the pivot to lure out opposing Grass-type Pokemon and allow Stunfisk to sweep in the back. Makes a lot of sense. I could see something like a Jump Bluff being kind of annoying here, or like an Ariados. Well, I guess Ariados you have play against with the back two Pokemon. So an interesting team from Yakai, but Lapras just seems so flexible right now in the meta. There's not going to be a lot of things that can hard punish it. So people are going to have to try and figure out what they want to use as their Lapras counters. So a cool team there from Yakai. Next up is Mr. Home Slice Henry, one of the most popular content creators in the entire PvP community, and he's running Lapras, Mandibuzz, and Wigglytuff closer. The opponent sees the writing on the wall when their newly buffed Dark-type Pokemon is walled by Wigglytuff. Absolutely. I mean, Mandibuzz is going to be quite common with this new meta as a Dark-type resisting those Psy-Waves from many new Psy-Wave users. So Wigglytuff seems like a smart pick. Also, just shredding through things like Morpeko and Guzzlord, which will be more common as well. So I think Wiggles is a nice little anti-meta pick right now. Also, more Ghost-type Pokemon are going to be added, although we haven't seen as many Ghosts here on this graphic. So a cool team here from Home Slice Henry. Also, quite a bit of bulk on this team as well. Next up, Arceus Aurelius. Marcus is another fellow caster and also top 8 EUIC, a terrific battler in his own right, a former regional champion as well. And he's running Superior, Lapras, and Morpeko. 3 Pokemon that we've seen across these teams, but not quite in this same trio. You can play all the other meme teams with new Pokemon that are suggested here, or you can play this to win. His words in parentheses. A cool team from Marcus. All 3 of these Pokemon can be extremely strong in the right positions. And of course, with the bulk of Superior and Lapras, if you can maybe get a shield advantage for Morpeko, that's where Morpeko thrives as a closer in the back. I cannot tell you how many times I thought I was in a good position, and there just ends up being a Morpeko with 2 shields that sweeps the entire team. That's always the worst. So Morpeko, such a menace to society. Got to try and contain it. Next up, Inadequence, the 2024 Worlds finalist, has so many incredible regional and international finishes to his name at this point, and he is running Morpeko, Talonflame, and Wigglytuff. A bit of an RPS line, you could say, but that is a little bit what Inadequence is known for. Talonflame with a 2-turn head start can defeat Lapras in the 2-shield scenario, making it one of the safest and most versatile Pokemon meta. That is some great insight from Inadequence, because you would think, right, with Lapras being top meta now, that it would discourage perhaps the use of Talonflame, but he's saying with a little bit of an energy lead as a safe swap, if they counter swap Lapras, if they're not extremely quick to that counter swap, well, then Talonflame's simply going to outpace to the charge attacks in the 2-shield scenario, it appears. So Flame Charge Fly is the moveset he's opting for on Talonflame, and that Flame Charge going to be able to ramp up and make Talonflame all the more dangerous, boosting that Incinerate damage. We go on to the final few teams here, and we have Leo, a EUIC 2-time commentator and a very improved battler, and finally we see Dusknoir making an appearance. Dusknoir was able to receive Dynamic Punch, which is going to give it some massive coverage that it needed, because before it only had Ghost and Dark type attacks, making it pretty much walled against certain types of things like Wigglytuff, but now it has Dynamic Punch to fight back against Dark types. It has Dynamic Punch to fight back, so Dusknoir now I think going to be a lot more usable and a lot more flexible. Also, Shadow Swampert, don't forget about as the safe swap. Shadow Swampert might be back, now has access to Sludge to pressure grass-type Pokemon or maybe other water-type Pokemon that would resist the Hydro Cannon. So Shadow Swampert actually looks to be making a potential resurgence in this new meta, and Mandibuzz as the closer is going to be quite common as well, we believe. And we round out this video all these awesome teams with Tomahawk UK, known for running Spice, a 3-time regional finalist. He's running Emolga as well as Credilli, and also Spiritomb in the back. Spiritomb along with Sableye, one of those unique dark ghost type Pokemon. Off the top of my head, I don't know if there are any other dark ghost type Pokemon or if it's only those 2. But Spiritomb with Sucker Punch is going to be able to do a lot of fast attack pressure, and also Spiritomb has a little bit more bulk, I believe, than Sableye, if I'm thinking of it correctly. So the pressure, the charge attack pressure from Emolga and Credilli is going to maybe get shield advantage, and then you can save your shields for that Spiritomb with the Sucker Punch fast attack pressure to maybe try and close out. So a fun little spicy team from Tomahawk UK. I could see maybe certain ice types being a bit of a problem, like a Dugong, but honestly, this might be Dugong's last dance before Lapras starts to take over the meta and kind of replace Dugong as that most popular water and ice type Pokemon. All that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this short little breakdown, and I am so excited to get into this new season as it goes live at around 3 p.m. Central Standard Time today. Feel free to send me your battles. Link is always in the description of every single YouTube video for battle submissions, because I will be leaving for Vancouver, British Columbia on Thursday, and I'm trying to schedule out as many videos for this new season ahead of the weekend as I can for you guys. So, all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment down below, comment what you are planning on using at the start of the new season, and also make sure to go follow Inadequence over on Twitter. And shout out to him, as always, for making these awesome graphics. All that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.